Welcome back to Upcycle It. Last week I showed you how to make a rag rug using the rag rug tool. This week we're going to use a crochet hook and use either t-shirt yarn or a cotton or flannel sheet. I've just chosen the flannel one and put the strips together. In the first part of this series I showed you how to create the strips and join them. If you missed that part, please go back to part 1 and learn how to do that. As you crochet, you'll want your pieces joined together. We are using a size P crochet hook. There are larger ones, so if you'd feel more comfortable with something a little bigger, by all means, work with something a little bit bigger. We're going to use a single crochet, which is one of the simplest stitches in crochet. We're going to stick with a small rectangular piece. If this is your first time crocheting, that's going to be the easiest. Doing a circle is going to involve a lot of counting, but as you get better at it, you can definitely look up circular patterns and learn how to do that. It's actually a lot of fun. As we went over at the end of the last video, all crocheting starts with a chain. To create our chain, we're going to loop our material around 2 fingers and then bring the middle of the looping piece through the hole that we created. This is what we're going to put our hook through. Once you've done that, you can begin your chain. You will go under your material with your hook and pull it through that loop. For simplicity's sake, and because I always use the term, we're going to call our material yarn. I'm going to say it anyway, so we might as well get used to it. For the next chain, you're going to take your hook, put it under the yarn, and again pull it through. I'm going to keep this about the size of a table trivet, just so we can see it come together more quickly. So I'm going to put in about 12 chains. It'll be 10 chains across and 2 to begin the piece. That will be our first single, will be 2 chains. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 8. Fabric can be a little rough getting through. Don't be afraid to use your fingers to wiggle it on and off the hook if you have to. You are now going to insert your hook 2 chains from the hook. So we're going 1, 2. And this is where we will insert the hook, loop it under the yarn, and pull it right back through that chain. You now have 2 loops on your hook. You'll pick up more yarn and pull it through both. You're going to continue that way all the way across. All right, through the hole in the chain and up, pick up more and pull it through. Let's take this all the way through the chain. We're now at the last chain in our row. We're going to create the single crochet as we have, and then we're going to chain 2. This chain 2 will give our piece height, creating a second row. Okay, so we have our height, and our next stitch is next to that. You're going to see a hole in your stitch. It's almost like a V of the material, and you'll be putting your hook through that and pulling up more yarn, picking up more and bringing it through. You're going to continue this all the way across. Once again, as we approach the end of our row, we're going to remember that we'll need to do a chain to give our row height. So we have one more, after this stitch. Okay, so now we're going into that last one, creating our stitch, and once again chaining 2 to create a 3rd row. You're going to continue this until your piece is as large as you'd like it. My piece now has 8 rows. I'm going to finish off the last couple stitches and show you how to finish. So we'll do 2 more single crochets and the last one that goes through the chain. Now I like having loops on mine so that if I decide that I want to hang it somewhere, I can. This one's going to be a rug mug, so I kept it kind of small. But I'm going to put in a chain 2, 4, 5. I'm chaining 5, and then I'm going to loop it back and pull up the loop. At this point, I'm going to cut my material and pull that end through, attaching it. Now this piece, you don't want that just hanging out. You're going to loop it back into your piece several times. And you want to do it so that it's basically tying itself in. You don't want this coming loose. When you've done that 3 or 4 times, you can cut off the very end. In here also you can see where I had joined some of my strips. They have little tags. Don't trim too close, but you can trim those a little bit. Okay? Then we have our starting knot. And that as well we're going to work into the piece to secure it. Once that is secured, your piece is finished. This one is a rustic mug rug, a nice addition to my table on the front porch for when I have my coffee in the morning. Now, I also mentioned the t-shirt yarn. You're going to work with it exactly the same. It is a little bit thinner, so when you work with it, you're going to have more gaps. So you don't want to use it for anything like a pot holder because it won't protect your hand at all. But it can make a very interesting pattern for your rug. You can also try using a larger hook and pairing up 2 strands of the t-shirt yarn or a strand of the cotton and a strand of the t-shirt yarn. Experiment, play around, and have fun. I would recommend, if you'd like more information on crocheting, to check out on YouTube the Crochet Crowd's free videos. Mikey does a wonderful job explaining stitches and has excellent teaching videos. Thanks for joining us for this 3-part Upcycle It. Have a great day.